Hi, 7:14. Chad Blair is here from Civil Beat, and as Casey has mentioned all throughout the morning, the state legislature is back in session today. So we want to look at some of the top priorities for the lawmakers, but also some interesting notes here, Chad. The 33rd session looks a little different. Nadine Nakamura, new House Speaker, more Republican presence. Are any of these changes really going to affect the decision-making process?
Well, Republicans think so. You know, there's now 3 of them in the 25-member Senate, and they think they got a little more clout. But in the House, in particular, there's 9 that are in the minority. And Speaker Nakamura, I understand, is going to talk to Casey later today. But they feel like they got the wind at their back. You have a new Republican president being sworn in next week. You've got a House and Senate now under control federally. So they feel like they've got some room to say, you're here, we have some ideas, you should listen to us, Democrats.
Yeah, how about Nakamura herself?
Well, she's a veteran. Remember, she was working with Scott Saiki, but when the House Speaker lost his position, of course, that opened up the slot. She's a veteran. She's been around. She's from Kauai. She has a lot of experience. But some of that leadership has just moved into new positions. These are people like Scott Matayoshi and Sean Quinlan and Linda Ichiyama. These folks have been around for a while. You kind of wonder if these new faces that are coming in, and there's a lot of them, into the House are going to say, all right, we see how things are. There's a status quo, but, you know, we've got some new ideas. We're hungry. We're eager for change. It's a little bit of a tension, but sometimes that's a healthy tension.
Yeah, good. New voices could be a good thing. Fireworks, illegal fireworks regulation is always top of mind. There was one proposal to lessen the punishment, make it easier to enforce.
Right.
What are your thoughts as to what we might see?
Certainly increased enforcement has been called for. The thing that I found most interesting was to set up a special unit, a criminal unit within the Department of Law Enforcement to focus on explosives, to focus on illegals. Narcotics has been handling that. Well, they're busy with drugs. That's big enough a beat on their own. With the news of Jordan Lowe stepping down, you wonder how that's going to affect law enforcement, but that's expected to be a big priority.
Affordable housing, Chad.
Every year, Steve.
Never ending.
Buy the book, Affordable Housing. Couple things stand out. I think they're looking for, the lawmakers, ways to streamline the development process to help developers build more units, particularly to provide resources to help low and middle income folks get housing. This is something that we're going to be dealing with a long time from now. On the flip side, for the homeless, Kauhale, bigger push for these small housing units. The Governor Green is making that a big focus too. Okay,
so you're going to be there all day and you spend a lot of time at the Capitol. We got a little bit more time. Anything else that you're looking for in particular?
I will say this, there is an unease. You've been hearing it come up during the budget hearings with finance and Ways and Means. A concern about Trump and how that's going to affect Hawaii, how that's going to affect the money flow from the federal government, how that's going to affect programs like Medicaid, dealing with immigrants, dealing with abortion rights. So you're seeing both the House and Senate locally say, we're definitely going to be beefing up, if you will, and standing our ground in response to the new Trump administration. But I'm hearing that anxiety from a lot of folks.
But particularly concerned with Maui funding?
Oh, that is always a concern. That's been locked in, of course, under the last Congress, but you just wonder what's coming in. You see what Trump is doing with the wildfires in California, for example, blaming it on Governor Newsom, blaming it on Mayor Bass. Will that then affect how much money from FEMA goes to California? We've seen natural disasters become political footballs.
Yeah, very interesting. All right, Chad, you got a busy day.
Thanks, Steve, for reminding me.
All right, so you can read the full article. Well, we don't have an article, but many articles to come from our Chad Blair, or you can text 66866 to get their newsletter. Always some great stuff out there. Thanks, Chad.
Thanks, Steve. Our Chad Blair. That's a nice sound.
Ours. Nobody else can have you, but sorry.